What's going on, everybody? To another episode of Carbonate Bounty, but yes, and the nerds. Everybody's live here, so we're hope everybody's ready and in tune for a fun episode, man. Before we even get into this, man, I just want to say I was thoroughly enjoyed. But before I can hide my excitement, let me let DP let you guys know where to find us at.
Nerdcyclopedia.com. People, make sure that you go onto that site and you will see all our or follow us on all your favorite platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and also on Instagram at Nerdcyclopedia. If you are watching us on YouTube, if you're watching us on live YouTube, thank you for being there. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and also that notification button. So anytime that we're on, that you know that we're on. If you're on Facebook watching us, thank you as well. Go to our Facebook group, Carbonite Bounty BS, a Star Wars group, and we'll chat with you. We'll interact and, get your memes going and all that stuff. Shout out to Thomas Hastings. He's always on it.
He's good about that.
Exactly. And if you are listening to us in the car, on your phone, or anywhere else that you listen to your favorite podcast, we are on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, anywhere that you hear your favorite or listen to your favorite podcast, we are there. And of course, leave us some feedback at nerds@nerdcyclopedia.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Appreciate it, DP. But yeah, to echo our conversation kind of earlier in the day and everything. I mean, maybe I'm just a sucker for Star Wars because like this. These are all 10 out of 10s of me. You just can't cut it any other way for me, man. I can't even.
Are they kin out of kins?
Yeah, these are.
I was just gonna say. So this, they got the right package going. I mean, street chases, Power Rangers, motorcycle gangs. Come on, bring it. I mean, this thing. Plus, you got the red stapler guy, right?
Stephen Root.
I mean, come on. So all these A-listers, plus, I mean, the Rancor Keeper. I mean, what's his name? Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
I mean, he's only in one episode, but man, he must have said, you know what, sign me up, guys, because I got to be in this somehow because this is such legit stuff. Just a great episode. I mean, so many call-outs to the Mandalorian and the original Star Wars trilogy, and we're just seeing this really great connection between everything. And I loved every second of this episode. This was definitely so far my fave episode right now, and I can't wait to see how Boba Fett gets back at the pike for this because he got his entire new build decimated. I mean, his entire clan of friends and family destroyed. Unreal, absolutely unreal, uncalled for. And I want to see the Pikes just destroyed, and I want to see Boba do it with his hand and his gang of Power Ranger, cyborg, friggin' whatever they are. I mean, they're going to be great. And the way they took down that Wookiee, oh come on! I mean, this is just some of the greatest stuff I've ever seen on TV since
Power Rangers Zeo.
It was great.
Very cool.
Yeah. I definitely echo that. I mean, I was excited. How about the suspense? He's in the back of the tank and he gets snatched out by the Wookiee. Like, I'm just like, man, you kidding me? As soon as that happened, I'm like, because, you see him in the back of the tank and I'm like, here we go, another flashback. And then as you see, like, kind of the water stop, and I'm like, well, here he goes. He's going to get dressed again. And then dude gets grabbed by his throat. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really opening up. So good action, good story, good development. And as we said before, there's not too much of that backstory anymore. We're kind of almost up to that current point. So we see now the loss of what he went with his Tusken Raider tribe, and we're getting really to the parallel, point of why he is doing what he is and where he is. So I'm really excited about this episode and can't wait to talk about all the key elements with it this week with you guys.
This was awesome. Yeah. Can I say that I did not have Danny Trejo saying that Rancors are deep emotional beings on my Star Wars bingo card for 2022.
They're loving
beings, yo. I mean, Ask him some questions. If you have some problems with your wife, he will help. I mean, they're just empathetic creatures. They want to eat you, but they want you to feel okay about it. That's what's great about the Rancors. Yeah, they just want everything to be copacetic. DP, we talked about this off mic, and DP pointed out this is a Rodriguez directed, so that is the Trejo cameo is almost a guarantee. And I'm excited to see him. It's interesting. That's a nice callback to Jedi, right? Because the Rancor Keeper was devastated when Luke killed the Rancor, just devastated. I thought that was really neat. I really did enjoy the Power Rangers in the chase scene, but I was a little bummed out because their motorcycles didn't all get together and do like a Voltron thing. You know what I mean? Like a Megazord.
There's no Megazord. Yep, no Megazord.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Give them an episode.
You're right. That's correct.
The season is young.
The season is very young. We saw a Wookiee fight a bunch of cyborgs. I mean, pretty awesome. And now we see the end of Boba Fett's Tusken Raider origin story. Why is he claiming Daimyo ship over Tatooine? Because he is the successor of the Tusken Raiders. It is cool. It makes sense then why he comes back to set everything correct on Tatooine, and he has a motivation moving forward. We see the end of that story, like you said, and now we can move on to Boba Fett's ship, which I guess is next. We won't say the old name. We don't do that. But that's what I got out of this one. Again, Ken out of Ken. I really like that.
Yeah. It was a very interesting. So the way they wrapped it up, so we finally we get in the beginning, of the series of him climbing out the Sarlacc pit and getting that whole background. It was sort of iffy, like, what was his background as far as like why was he with the Tusken Raiders and all that stuff. We finally see all that wrapped up. And like you said, Hitch, the motivation as to why he got on that throne and as to why he's doing what he's doing to set things right, right there in Tatooine and stuff. I'm with you guys. I love the Power Ranger cycles. I love their I like their whole crew. I'm interested to see more about that Rebel crew. To see what their personalities develop to be. So I'm sure we're going to get a lot of stories. Anytime Star Wars introduces characters, there's like additional stories about them. Somebody should pick itching and to go at them as far as like trying to develop some backstory. So that was good to see. Black, Chrysanthemum. I mean, he's like crazy. I mean, this guy just grabbing stuff and taking about the thing, the sanctum thing. I can't
back to tank.
Yeah, the back to tank. And just throwing my boy around. Boba is getting his butt whipped. And then we got like a great race scene. I mean, like a chase scene at the towards the end there. It was a really good episode.
So how are we all liking the band of protection and heroes that he's building? Like he started with the Gamorrean guards, and now he's got the young blood. He's got the Lost Boys, the cyborgs, and he's going to add. I mean, what's next? He's building this little well knitted together army of protection, and I mean, Fennec is like his negotiator, right? And basically Boba Fett just sits back and takes charge when things need to be done. But he's got a nice foundation building of technology, force, and that Wookiee's coming back. I guarantee you the Wookiee's coming back because it's going to run off into the wastelands of Tatooine and be like, what am I doing?
Disney paid good money for that suit.
Yeah,
so they are going to use it more than once.
They're going to use the vibro. What's that weapon? The vibro knuckle.
Yeah, that's
knuckle zap.
That's a new one. Yeah,
that was a brutal punch he threw at that thing, man. That was a really great effect. That bang. Ooh, loved it. I love the cyborgs. They have their own little cyborg enhancements, and you never know. Like they're all sort of like different versions of Inspector Gadget. I thought it was funny that they sent the dude with the bionic eye to go look for the Pikes.
Yeah.
And they were like, "What'd you do?" And he's like, "I could count them. There were 12 of them." And it's like, "Wow, on account of your eye, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, this eye here, my eye. I could see him on account of this eye." And then they were like, "All right, see you later, buddy." He's like, "I like my eye," and then they hung up on him.
Yeah, right. He's like, well, keep an eye on them.
Yeah.
No effect.
Yeah.
No effect.
Yeah.
He's like, I get that joke all the time, so I hear it all day.
Everybody's boss is making stupid jokes like that.
Yeah, but we're getting deep and down into the story of like this crime boss and how he's gonna rule with like respect, per se and stuff. Like as Hitch was saying, we get Danny Trejo, we get the Rancor and everything, and I'm sort of interested to see how that's gonna go because aren't they supposed to like bond with like the first person that they see or something?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And who do you bond with? Boba
Fett.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
riding a Rancor, man.
So the when Boba left that pit, it was sort of like Danny Trejo. I forget his name. I forget his character's name and everything.
Did they give him a name?
He's
Rancor Keeper.
Yeah,
he's
Rancor Keeper number 2.
It seemed like they was kind of already bonded, So is Boba like, are they playing Boba?
Yeah.
There's 0% chance that they said the sentence, "I want to ride this," and he will not ride it.
Yeah.
I just cannot believe that Disney would write a check like that and bounce it on us.
Cash it. Yep.
0% chance that's going to happen. So you can pencil that on in for when he goes and fights the Pikes or the Wookiees or IGA, whatever happens at the end here, right? You can just pencil in. He will be riding a Rancor into it, and it will be awesome.
Amazing. Yeah.
But the Rancor,
I want to ride this beast.
So what is the Rancor depressed about? Like what is his issues and stuff? I want to know.
No,
well, you got a lot of internal anger.
Friend. He wanted
took him away from his mother.
Yeah, it was a calf. Remember? Yeah, it's a calf.
Made him fight to live. I mean, good lord, he's in the gladiator pit. Is it the Rancor's fault that it wins every time? No, it's not the Rancor's fault, but it's a fight to the death. And these are deep emotional beings. They don't want to fight. They're being pushed into it. And I for one think that this is maybe the worst thing about Jabba the Hutt was that he had this Rancor that he kept down there and was sick on these sentient beings. It probably was terrible for this poor sweet creature to be fighting the poor and wretched that fall into the clutches of Jabba the Hutt.
And here comes Luke.
And then a Jedi kills it because, of course, the one time a Jedi.
And how does he kill him? He throws a skull at the door.
He does a Randy Johnson and throws a 98-mile-an-hour skull fastball. And hits
a heater. He hits him with a heater. That's all right.
Just like Randy Johnson with that dove.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. And you know what? We got to talk about 8D8. We got to talk about some of Boba's like entourage that he's bringing in. So 8D8 was a torture droid under Jabba's reign, and now giving some now we're getting to see this character, and it's pretty cool. Like we knew it was pretty. It was a great looking droid. It took them, I think, 30 years to make a figure out of it, like an action figure. And as soon as you become an action figure, you're a legacy. You're now part of history. And I'm hoping they actually do a Black Series 8D8 action figure because I think I'm going to buy it. But
hint, Disney, if you'd like another couple $100.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Whatever.
Make another helmet. Just make a helmet out of it.
Helmet, and I'll wear it. I'll wear it for the rest of the podcast.
Make a helmet.
You think the helmets are Ken out of Ken?
Yeah.
It peeks its head out from behind the Rancor and be like, Boba, we have a problem. The mayor won't meet with us for 20 days. All of a sudden, Boba Fett's like, let's go. I mean, it's a
this Rancor riding thing that I was just talking about. They're not going to do that right now. This is only episode 3. Let's go have a meeting with the mayor. I'm like, you can just feel yourself wanting to click on no, like go back to the Rancor. You know what I mean? Like if I were playing this, if this were a video game and I were playing it, and the droid walked in and was like, the mayor would not meet with us for 20 days, I'd be like, I can ride this Rancor for 20 days. And that's what I do. I make bad decisions in video games.
I'm kind of excited because we're at the halfway point, and if you remember The Mandalorian each season, there's a big character drop coming. I mean, this is where like I think this next episode, there's going to be something major. We'll get a new character, a legacy character. I think this next one hitting that halfway point, there's going to be it's going to be a special one. I mean, because we're already there.
Who do you think?
It's going to have to be somebody who's tied to the Rebel Alliance because I mean, I'm imagining this war is going to get pretty bad. So we already know the Wookiees there. It's going to have to be somebody.
My personal pick would be Hondo.
Maybe, yeah.
That would be cool.
That's a good one. Because I mean, like we're saying, he's still trying to unite people. I mean, the only army he really has is just anybody in the inner city of Tatooine, and maybe some of these rival clans that might follow him. But we don't know how many people the Pikes have. So based on what they're saying, I mean, they have starships bringing people in. So it's going to get pretty serious. I'm excited to see that battle too. I mean, you remember the battle from episode 2, how it looked, episode 1 with the Gungans. I mean, the way the production went forward. I mean, even at the speeder scene, I mean, that literally looked good. Because I usually try to pick things apart when I watch it. I mean, the animation and the way they did that in a studio, let alone with a moving screen. It's just like, man, that's phenomenal. That's crazy to me.
The flashback scenes when they keep flashing back with Boba Fett, that's him and Camino, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What's the ship? Who's on that ship that keeps flying away every time they show it?
Django.
It's Django on Boba Fett's ship.
All right. So
and I was wondering if those were like deleted scenes that they like compiled, because there was no scene where that original Slave One, that was his ship.
It was Slave One back then. It's okay to say it. This is purposeful.
I didn't want to, but
it's okay.
There were no scenes where that ship actually took off that Boba Fett and Django weren't together, where he was looking out his bedroom, like watching his dad fly away.
Okay.
So, but just seeing Daniel Logan like staring out there. I mean, that just, to me, it just made all kind of emotional changes. I mean, it's like to see that. It was like really connecting everything and putting it all together. It was very cool. I want to see some Caminoans.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if they are going to bring Omega in. I mean, that would be mind blowing.
That would be a cool drop right there.
Yeah,
his sister.
Well, hey, what if the this war's starting? Some maybe some Mandalorians come to help. Maybe we see. I'm thinking Din Djarin's going to show up for a cameo. To be honest, I think they're going to get in trouble, and Din and maybe the Death Watcher. You're going to see something. There'll be a crossover. This is the new.
The light cruiser just showing up. Oh.
Yeah. And that drop, the mechanic, I forget her name, was in the background when he was in Mos Eisley. The mechanic with her pit droids walked past the stormtrooper helmet cemetery.
Oh, yeah.
So she's there. So it's very possible that Din Djarin would come back. Maybe she was working on some technology of his or his new ship, and then maybe there's a connection. But she's definitely there. That's the Target lady, the one with the Christmas cards and the
Amy Sedaris.
Amy Sedaris, yeah, the Target lady.
She was in Strangers with Candy, very awesome show on Comedy Central in the '90s. When Stephen Colbert also was on that show. So long time ago. She's been famous for a while. Like her work there. Sorry,
you guys were talking about like the speeder, the speeder chase scenes and everything. That was T-Mitch. That was definitely well done for the medium that it was in. I mean, I'm visualizing all this like on a big screen, and just like how we talked about like Rebels and Clone Wars and season 7 Bad Batch and season 7 of Clone Wars and stuff. All this looks like it should be on the big screen. It can be on the big screen, and we will still have the same experience, same pleasurable like experience. It's that all this, the stories just be divided down into like half an hour to 40-minute type increments and stuff. But all this I can totally see on like the big screen. So the production level is top notch.
And you mentioned time. This episode was way too short.
Yeah. Am I the only person that looks at the runtime as soon as the episode starts? I hit the down arrow just to see, and I'm like,
no,
you got it.
I don't do it.
I do. I'm just like,
you know how long it's going to be. It spoils stuff in the structure of the story, though. I try not to.
I'd do it. I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. That's all
Oh,
I
there's
want.
5 minutes left. Bet they solve this pretty quick.
Oh no! I don't look at the 5 minutes. I just look at the intro to see how long the whole episode is, and I'm just like 30. Come on, man! I stayed up till 3 a.m. for this.
You see, that's your fault. That's your fault.
Nah, I couldn't.
It's never the viewer's fault.
Never. It's Disney's fault.
It's Disney's
Stop
fault.
trying to do this. They're gonna come for us if we start blaming them
It's,
for Boba Fett runtime issues.
yeah.
I wanted more of the story, though. That's the thing. Like the runtime seemed short, but so did the piece of the story that we saw. Right, the Hutt's coming, they apologize, and the Pikes are there. Right, that's pretty much what we saw in the news story. It felt a little. That to me felt a little draggy in that sense, and the whole detour with the mayor's major domo trying to run away, like little Twilight Crispin Glover. You know what I mean? Like it's just I wanted there to be more of the story, and it just seemed like that part was a little bit of a juggle, right? So
Yeah, they tried to juggle the action stuff with more of the story. Now, I could appreciate where you're coming from, but I mean, I think up to this point, we really haven't gotten much action.
Right.
And this episode sort of gave us that, to a degree. We got some action with the train heist and everything, but I mean, as far as like fights and chases and stuff in the present, we haven't really got too much of anything until now.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah, this is. Well, keep in mind though, Robert Rodriguez actually is executive producer on the whole show, so this is actually his show. So he's running the whole 7 episodes. But I mean, it's funny because it's typically like his style when you watch it, adapted to Star Wars. So I'll see elements of it, and I'll remember things like Death Race or something he's done, and so it's pretty funny that you see some of the stuff he's done in his work now. And it's crazy because before he did this, he was getting blasted on the internet. Like, why is he doing Star Wars? But I think he's doing a great job so far. Like we're saying, there are some patchy parts where I wish there was more development. But I think it's also kind of like, Star Wars and Disney kind of showing off their technology. Because keep in mind, the part was cheesy, but to pull this off at that screen studio they're doing, it's basically saying like, hey, look, we spent, I don't know, $70 million to build this studio in this place in California, the Skywalker Ranch. You guys are spending $6 billion to shoot Avengers all around the world. This is another medium for other studios to save money and another way to deliver the content. And it looks just as good, in my opinion.
It looks just as good, yeah.
Just as good.
Yeah. I mean, you would think they were shooting out in the desert.
That's what I'm saying, for a fraction of the cost. So that just leaves more money to have more A-listers, higher production quality. It's just, I think that's the big thing. The money they're saving and all the extra stuff, travel and all that. I mean, we're already starting to get A-list characters showing up in these shows where I never thought we'd see them really in Star Wars. So a lot of those people are starting to turn up. I'll be excited to see in the future. I mean,
they don't have to go anywhere. They don't have to do months of training. You just show up, do the lines, you get your cameo done. Really, really, really cool. I just hope that Danny Trejo sticks around and starts giving, Boba Fett really ruthless advice. I hope they're just like, we have to resolve this, and he's just like, just kill them all. Just go, just do it. We'll be done. We'll be back in 25 minutes.
Give me that vibra blade. I will take care of all of them.
Sure. One thing that's funny is I've noticed some of those Rodriguez style flourishes, like you're saying, T-Mitch, where there's a couple times where it's like the camera, like the film speed's obviously different, like not normal, and I think that's a Rodriguez thing. And then some of those shots, like right, like that. Those are Rodriguez. It's like Miho from Sin City.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah.
So you can see some of those, how he's putting his own style on it, right? And in some ways, it's Rodriguez is a good choice because Boba Fett's doing a little bit of a desperado here, right? Yeah. I mean, the whole point of what he's doing is coming to town and taking over. It's basically Yojimbo, right?
Yeah.
So it's a Kurosawa movie, which again, what is that? That fits really great with Star Wars because Star Wars is that mix of the Western, sci-fi, and a Kurosawa movie. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and this is the right medium for him too, especially the right studio. Because I mean, with the last few Rodriguez movies, from Sin City to Spy Kids and some other things that he's done, he's like green screen king. He loves working, with green screen background, and just using that instead of going out into the field and stuff. So The Manhattan Studios is just right at home for him to do his work with this, and it's probably even more so since it actually looks better, a lot better than.
Oh, this is probably his best Milken movie he's ever done, as far as the quality of what it looks like. And keep in mind when he does those Tarantino side movies and stuff, his budgets are pretty tight. Like he doesn't have the budget of an Abrams or Bad Robot or any of these. And no big studio ever would take a chance on him. This Disney job right here, this is kind of an open checkbook to some extent. You know what I mean? He can kind of do what he wants. I mean, the explosions, all this stuff. I mean, when I watch his movies, I'm like, it's kind of cheesy. So he does basically have an open checkbook to kind of do what he wants within Filoni's vision. But yeah.
But Rodriguez is also, his style is sort of, he's an indie guy, because El Mariachi was like an indie film. And, the style, like Desperado, when it came out, like there's so much of it that is like was adopted and incorporated into other action movies. And it's been so long since it came out that you sort of forget that a lot of those things are Rodriguez-isms just because they've become tropes now. I'm telling you, the speed of the camera used to matter. And before the Matrix, no one messed with it very much. And now everybody can change everything because it's digital. And you can manipulate any shot you want in any way. You don't have to capture it a certain way in the lens. And I think it's nice to see Rodriguez getting a chance to, almost take the kind of the comic book angle that he did. This reminds me a lot of Sin City. Obviously, Sin City looks very stylized and is presented to be a simulation of the actual comic itself, the actual graphic novel Sin City. And it's interesting to see, a character like this Wookiee, who's a Marvel Comics origin character, right? Yeah. Coming here, and the way that this looks very comic booky, right? Those motorcycles, man, they look comic booky. I'm telling you, it looks like they're gonna do the Megazord. And
I mean, that's not a natural color selection for like Star Wars,
for the desert,
Tatooine for desert. Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing else shiny out there. Yeah. There's nothing else shiny but these motorcycles, so they stick out.
Yeah, that's why I like the. I first thing I thought was like Power Rangers, like they were like these special characters, and they all have their own special powers, and like the chick, she was like real aggressive. She was on the blue one, right? She was like fast and she was speedy and stunt oriented. Then there was I don't know, it was the yellow or the red one. And he was more of an attack. Mm-hmm. They were attacking the land speeder. They were attacking the major domo more than trying to, more on an offense than a defense kind of thing. And that's kind of what the Power Rangers each had their own little skill set, that they did. But then of course they banded together. So I know we were talking about like what comes next. So one thing that interested me, in the first episode, Boba Fett wanted a protocol droid so he could help with translation. So that, like, T-Mitch, you were talking about like who the drop is going to be. So who could that be? I mean, could we possibly see a famous, although maybe underrated protocol droid pop in here somehow? Because that's the hinge pin through Star Wars is those goddamn droids. They're in everything, and so far in Solo, Mandalorian, and well, now we got this. I mean, there hasn't. I'm just talking about it's all the kind of the same time frame. We haven't really seen the droids per se, right?
So in this timeline, isn't say like a 3PO? Isn't he with? Who's he with before Episode 7 starts?
Well, we don't know. We don't. I mean, that's a long time from now, right? So we know probably with Leia because that's just where he was. Right. But it would be just like Leia to send Han off with C-3PO because she knows he hates him, and make Han have to bring him over to Boba Fett, who Han obviously has reasons to not be super friendly with.
Right. And wouldn't that be an interesting?
I always thought about that, like kind of his redemption, like you're saying, because look what happened before. Mm-hmm. He hated him. Kind of like the guy when Din Djarin captured him. He always had that fear of him. What would it be to show like Solo and Fett looking face to face and him being like, "Hey, look, that's an old me." Like he said it a couple of times on the show. Like, even when he talked to the bounty hunter, he said the Wookiee. He said, "Look, this isn't what you want to do. I've lived your life." So I think that'd be. I mean, you're saying that, and it makes sense that we might get a Solo, man. I mean, I think that would be really cool.
So how old is Ben Solo? How old is Ben Solo? Is he? Should this be about when Ben is born? It's about 3 years after.
Can be, because Luke would be Luke will be definitely right now. I mean, based on his timeline
or something.
So,
no, Luke's like 28.
But keep in mind, this is also during. This is right after, right? The setting now is after he left the ship with Din Djarin. So he's with Grogu. So ultimately, maybe he's either looking for other Jedi or he's making that temple where, like you're saying, Ben Solo is maybe 3 or 4 at this point.
Oh, yeah, he can't be 4. I mean, he can't be that old because that would be that is long enough that it would be during the setting of the original trilogy, 3 to 4. Right. This is like 3 years after the end of that, right? Something like that.
I believe so. Yeah.
Well, we don't even know how long Boba was in the Sarlacc pit, do we?
No.
That's never been communicated.
Jabba's ship was still burning.
Right. So, when it was still there, the Jawas hadn't like ransacked it and torn it apart. It was still sitting there. So maybe a month after ROTJ.
Right.
But this is all happening after the Mandalorian, so it's like, so there should be some sort of shenanigans happening soon, where Leia and Han are going to have a child or have a young child at some point. So they're thinking about not doing these adventures anymore. And maybe C-3PO is available for a little bit of contract work in the Outer Rim. But it also wouldn't be unusual for Luke Skywalker to take an interest in Tatooine himself.
Yeah. I mean, if Luke is like if Luke is right around 28 at this time, I mean, he wasn't like Solo like about a few years older than
Han would be like 35-ish.
Han was definitely the older of the group.
Yeah,
Luke being the youngest, Leia right in the middle, or actually Leia's same age as Luke, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you got the guy Alden who played played Solo. He's right around 32 right now, 32, 33 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
so he'd be a perfect drop.
But here's the thing, that it's very if they have the actual guy who's playing Han Solo, they wouldn't do this. But you could just do the Harrison Ford, right? I mean, you could just deep fake it. You get someone that looks close enough like him, and he's there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Would you deep fake it?
I'd deep fake it.
If what's his face wanted to come back, then yeah, I mean, take that chance, take that chance and go with it. I don't think he would. I think he's done with anything. He made his last go around tour with with the Star Wars, and now he's doing Indiana Jones. And
I'm saying, he's filming Lucas's other project, Indiana.
Yeah. He's like, I'm done with that. So you get the next best thing. You get Alden and right in whatever his last name is. So that will be your next best bet.
But CG the whole goddamn thing too.
Deep fake is a thing. Would you accept a deep fake?
I think it'd be cool. Yeah. I mean, if it looks as good as how they de-aged Hamill, I mean, it doesn't really. I don't care how they produce that.
Would you accept a deep fake with the limitations that you had with what we seen in the final episode of the last season of Mandalorian, or would you accept more of a mobile, more of a that you could get more of a character out of without all it? Would you accept him more into like the story? Because with deepfake, you have to I would guess you have to spend a lot of money, to try to keep that thing going throughout like
that image,
What they did at the end of Rogue One with Tarkin and Leia, if they took that technology and did that with Han,
I mean that's fine for 1 or 2 scenes. But I mean, if you're trying to embed them into like a story, would you accept that? And I mean, I couldn't hear like a whole bunch of fans like, you know what? I mean, it was fine for a couple scenes, but throughout a whole episode, I don't know.
I would accept it. I would accept it if all they did was intercut scenes from The Fugitive and said that's Han Solo. I take it. So
The Fugitive, or what was that other one?
Witness,
I think I know what you're talking about, kid.
or the one where he cheats on his wife, right? What was that one?
It was the oh, you're gonna make me look it up here.
We're not talking.
You better
We're not
look it up.
talking
The one
Blade
where
Runner.
He's on this like
Not Blade Runner.
and he's
No, I
like
tried to read some of it.
he's like a nerdy guy too, and he's on this like huge spy espionage thing. What the hell was that one called?
For it.
IMDb, here we
I
come.
think it came out the same time. It was about the same time frame. It was like between Empire and Return of the Jedi. He did this like spy movie that it wasn't a Tom Clancy thing. And he was just a dude
later.
like us. He was just a guy. He was just a guy. His wife got kidnapped. And he has to like find her through this whole spy. What the hell was
This
it
like
called?
is this the prequel to Taken?
No, it was
Tooken.
Tooken. It was Tooken. What's wrong with you?
How did you make an off-brand?
You're not talking about
30 years ago.
Present Danger, are you?
No. It wasn't a Tom
No,
Clancy.
that's his Tom Clancy.
Yeah, it wasn't a Tom Clancy.
Yeah,
It's
not
totally
Tom.
different. I'll have to.
That's not as good. That's not the good one. The Patriot Games is the good one where he's just punching
Patriot.
Irishmen
Yeah.
left and right.
Patriot Games is good. Reciprocity, that was the.
What if we? Okay. Here's the compromise. What if we use Air Force One? What if?
Sure.
What if Boba Fett's trying to
president.
get on the Millennium Falcon, and he says, "Get off my plane," and punches him in the face,
Punches him right in the nose.
right in the kisser, just bang, and then Boba goes, "Sorry about putting."
I mean, that's a good cliffhanger though. If he sees him in the Tatooine, even if they just show the ship kind of like passing and he catches it, how much would that be like of a scene to see it
Like in the corner of his eye.
Yeah, kind of in space. He just sees it real quick and's like, I recognize that ship.
That would be pretty badass. If like the Millennium Falcon's just landing in the background and like all this stuff's going on in the foreground and we're all and everybody obviously all of us would be like,
I
"That's
would
a Millennium
sign my
Falcon?"
whole paycheck for a month over to Disney for that one.
You better ask some people about that before you start writing those checks.
So is Boba still concerned about anything about the Empire? Because we got that one scene from The Mandalorian where he was just shocked that the Empire was still around. Does that fit into anything with what this series is about, or is it just going to be grounded?
That's a great question.
I mean, I think his first mission would be to definitely get his mind back. Because remember, he was kind of like, he lost his mind, so he lost everything, kind of amnesia-ish. So he's getting his thoughts back. Then the people that rehabilitate him died. So there's that vengeance thing. He's now claiming his throne after he's kind of got some idea. I'm guessing from Din and the Night Owls as to what's going on in the galaxy. I mean, so eventually, maybe. I mean, a season 2 if they keep it going.
I mean, this could be laying the track for whatever we get with Ahsoka and
right.
with other some other series that the end game might be Thrawn. Like the Boba handles like the ground forces. We get Din Djarin coming up in some point and Ahsoka doing her thing, and then the end battle is like going up against Thrawn. If he's even part of the Empire at that point in time.
It makes sense if you're saying that now because, definitely he would have the ground forces in Tatooine. Din or Bo-Katan would have to have, whatever Mandalorians are left in the galaxy. So they would bring, the Mandalorians there. Or, hey, like I'm saying, right now he has the Darksaber and we know the timeline. Who says when this war happens, he doesn't call him and say, hey, look, I need you. And then comes down with, a gang. We're setting it up, man. I'm telling you, it's looking.
At the same time, we could also see Boba Fett tear through all these people, and that would be awesome in its own right.
You think though? I don't know because I like this. I like this element of him that he's still like, he's
You're
not
right,
OP. He's not OP. He takes damage, and he's like.
I feel like my thirst for Mandalorian vengeance was slaked by Din in season 1 of The Mandalorian when he went to the Imperial installation and got the child back. When he rescued the child, that was the sort of ruthless vengeance I expect from Mandalorians, and I think I'm okay that there's not more.
Right.
But it was ruthless and awesome. We all remember that one, right?
I definitely agree. It's just, it's fun. The series is so unique because they're like we're saying. There's so many theories you can go with. I mean, I just every time I watch an episode, I'm just like, man, this is just getting better and better. And I like, I know Ken out of Ken is usually a guy that's like, they're all tens, but like I feel almost like a sucker. Like they can't do anything wrong. I'm so giddy every time an episode comes out. Like I just literally, I don't think you can mess up.
I was shocked. 8:30 this morning, we get a text from Ken out of Ken. I'm like, wow, he's already seen the episode. This guy,
I couldn't help myself. I waited. I was going to text y'all like at 3:15, but I was like, nah, you know what? I'll let those old guys sleep because they got to get up and work.
Yeah, he already called in with a scratchy throat. He was like,
"Yeah, I can't come in tonight today. Yeah. I gotta stay out." Frantic.
I got to call if I got a Star Wars podcast to do.
Oh, we get to see. Can you believe Black Chrysanthemum? Oh man,
yeah.
Like it really,
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler, we get Power Rangers like right in the morning. Like what?
I was just like, come on, Power Rangers,
right?
And Milton.
Yeah. Stephen Root. We haven't even talked about the fact that Stephen Root's in this.
Oh yeah, Stephen Root's in this, man.
He rules. He's awesome at everything. Every single thing he's ever been in, he's been incredible in. And I really believe that about Stephen Root. So anytime you see Stephen Root show up in a series, you know he's going to be awesome, and you know that story is going to be good. Even if we ended it here with just take this little money and shut up, I mean, I'd be cool with that. But there's going to be a second piece to this because obviously there's more war. There's going to be more mixed loyalties, and I don't know. He seemed pretty mad about that whole thing.
1,300 credits.
An 800 credit ding right out of his butt.
1,300 credits. He said 1,300. Yeah.
He was dealing.
I think I said it already.
And he was willing to give up a red stapler, but like he wasn't willing to give up a couple hundred credits for this water. I mean, come on. What a jackwagon.
Oh man, yeah.
The movie I was thinking of, Harrison Ford, which would be like, he's like a regular guy. Frantic, it's called.
Ooh.
And it's I'll bet you've never heard of it, but I'll guarantee you, I'll bet you $1. I'll bet you $1 if you watch it, you'll be like, yeah, that's a goddamn good movie right there.
Pluck some scenes from that, put them into like the episodes, and
yes.
Nobody seen it, and
All right. What about Sabrina? We'll take scenes from Sabrina and put them into the episode.
Perfect.
And it'll be just like Han Solo was there. We'll say, "I love you, Sabrina," and then Boba Fett will shoot at him. It'll be great.
Well, we have to have our nightly, supernatural scene as well, because it's 2016, right? Supernatural. We got to keep Dean and whatever his name is, the brothers.
The other one.
The other
one.
Guy,
Dean and
right?
the other one, right? Yeah.
Texas Ranger,
Oh, right, yeah. The Texas Ranger.
So if you did bring him in and everything, what would we do about Leia?
Bring her in. Bring her in right at the end for a cliffhanger.
If you said Leia was too busy, this is how the EU would handle it. So T-Mitch knows this as well as I do. If they ever wanted Han to do something by himself, they'd either have him have a fight with Leia, or she'd have some job that was so important she couldn't be with him.
Exactly.
They'd either fight, or he would be like, I'm on the committee to end the, trade of nerfs and, whatever. And then she'd be busy off doing that. Nerf trading. You got to watch it. The nerf herders trade their nerfs.
I mean, if anything, they'll probably loop her voice and put it together. They might do like a transmission if they thought about it. I don't know if they'll bring Leia into this, to be honest. I know that it's
great. Yeah. If you talk about bring the actress that played her in the one that's playing her in Rebels and Clone Wars and stuff.
Yeah. Well, her daughter actually was going to finish off the stuff and was going to do scenes. So, but then she had her own part in the final movie. But I think Billy Lord said that she would finish her mom's parts and do all that stuff if she wanted to move forward.
It's a tough situation because even if you want it, it's just too sensitive to recast, because you were using, Carrie Fisher in that part so recently. It's not like someone like Harrison Ford who repeatedly said, I'm done with this. I'm done with this. Kill me, please. Please kill this character. Kill this character. And then he was like, got the script for episode 6, and he was like, why does this character survive? You got to kill this character off, George. So it's just a shame that we don't have that total freedom. I wouldn't want to see. I don't think I want to see Carrie Fisher in this, just because I know that it would have to be, it would have to be something different. I feel like if you want someone else to play Leia, then you better give that actress a proper introduction.
Don't just throw her in there cameo or whatever. Give her actual some development.
Give her a movie. You gave Han a movie. Give her a movie. She deserves a freaking movie.
What if Leia was what if R2 was in Book of Boba Fett and Leia came across as a hologram transmission?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, that's how they would have to do her as a transmission. But
because that could be perfect. That could be perfect, and we wouldn't object to it, and it would be a nice homage to the greatest actress of our day, really.
I still think that story is kind of untold, and I think that's probably the most difficult story to tell, because it would be mostly a voiceless story, kind of like a what was that movie? 26 Ronin or whatever. It really has to have no audio, like an anthology. And we talked about it, of R2. I mean, he's literally lived through everything. He's seen everything. Like, I'd love to see the recollection of him. I know it would be hard to do, but I think that if anybody can pull off, Filoni would. I would just love to see, like we're saying, he knows everything. He's literally a library of the galaxy at this point. Mm-hmm. And realistically, let's be honest, he's the only person that really knows what happened in the Jedi Temple.
R2?
He ran the security footage. They didn't see it all, but
yeah, I
mean, he downloads everything, so he literally is the only person that really knows.
He had to live to see Anakin do that too. I mean, that's the tragedy of R2.
Yeah. Speaking of R2, I mean, whatever happened with Chopper?
Oh man! If any of those guys from Rebels, because we, our other line on this show is our continuing review of the Rebels series. So if any of those guys show up in BBF, I would flip out. If Ezra shows up, I would flip out. If Sabine shows up, I would flip out.
Yeah.
And if that's who answers the Mandalorian call, that would be wild. Right. But because I think all these characters are like sort of earmarked to show up in the Ahsoka series. So
yeah,
what's the harm in bringing them on?
Some of them will, for sure.
Yeah.
But no, guys. I mean, it's like I said, another exciting episode, and another week live with everybody. So I'm just like us, waiting another 6 days and umpteen amount of hours, as Ken would say, to break the internet or break the text message stream. So that's the first thing I look at in the morning, is I see Ken's text. I was like, oh, man, I knew it was a good episode. He's already at it.
That was hilarious. Power Rangers.
Yeah, right.
Power Rangers go.
Well, hey, we have our mech droid, right? We can bring Alpha 5 in. There you go. Yeah, Alpha 5.
Right. And so after the Major Domo crashed, after the Power Rangers crashed him, right? Boba Fett jetpacks in. So that's the first time we saw that.
Yeah.
That was a great, and I watched that a couple times, and I was like, oh, that was very cool.
Like, where did you think you were going?
Yeah.
Like that whole thing, just dropping on. Like, you were never getting away.
Never getting away. And we all said we wouldn't mind if that Twi'lek died. So what are they going to do now? They're going to kill him, or are they?
I was hoping he got smoked. I hope he got smoked. He's like my Hitch's feeling towards a certain character. We won't name that person.
We don't say that name. We don't say that name.
We won't say that name.
I'll say that name because what are you going to do? Come over here and hurt me?
Anyway, so this has been a fun week. Never mess with the man with the button, bud.
Oh my God! Look at the time.
But
anyway,
But yeah, guys, just kind of wrapping up this podcast for this week and this live stream, which we do appreciate everybody on here once again. Appreciate everybody who comes in the comments and everybody who does, as we said, subscribe to us, who give us comments. I mean, live comments are always appreciated. We will shout you out on the screen and read it out. If you have any comments, any questions, feel free to interact with us. So that's what we're here for, as well as to discuss things we like, discuss things you guys like as well. So to kind of final wrap things up here, guys, as we enter this midpoint kind of the series, we've all kind of discussed what we want to see, what our thoughts are. Overall, just one quick thing I would ask each of you guys is, we started at the beginning, and there are a lot of fans skeptical. Right now, it seems like they kind of caught their wind, which we knew they would, and everybody's on board. If you were to rate this outside of 10 out of 10, I mean, where would you rate this at, Hitch, starting with you?
Okay, so for me, I feel like because it's a television series, I get to be you get to grade it on a curve. Right now, I mean, it's Boba Fett on my TV every week, and it's not disappointed in the action. So if you told me there was an action-packed television series where Boba Fett is trying to clean up Tatooine, I'd sign up for that 10 days out of 10 days. It's done everything I wanted to do. So I would say this is 10 out of 10, literally. This is like, I'm super excited to watch the rest of this.
What about you, DP?
So this series is good, and it's standing on its own for what it is. I'm not as invested in Boba Fett as I was in like Mandalorian. So if I had to compare the two, then I mean, it's certain things in Mandalorian. I guess if you want to call Grogu like that connective tissue or whatever that draws you in. I mean, had the element over this show. I understand what the fans, hardcore Star Wars fans want as far as Boba Fett. And what they wanted always with him on screen and everything. This is really getting them. As a casual and stuff, if I had to choose between the two series, I would choose Mando over this one. But this is still fulfilling, like Filoni Star Wars universe stuff. It's the same elements there, so it's still a 10 out of 10 to me.
I'm gonna third that as well. So that's 3. I mean, I'm jonesing. Like I said, they can't do anything wrong other than put somebody in there I don't want to see. So yeah, this is a 10 out of 10 for me as well.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Look at this, a 40. It's a perfect 40.
Perfect.
A perfect 4 Kens.
Kens out of Kens. Yeah. 4 Kens. This is like our Siskel and Ebert moment, right?
We have 4 Kens.
I can't do it. I'm not Justin Bieber. I can't do the.
Yeah, we love it. Yeah, we love it.
Yeah, we do.
Dig it.
Yeah, guys. Like I said, it's another fun week and another review. So next week we'll see you same time, same place at our midway kind of review of the Book of Boba Fett. So until next week, this is the way.
This is the way.